Hello, welcome back to Poverty PVMer, the series where I'm locked to a strict GP budget based on total level and combat achievement tier. The goal is simple: complete the master combat achievements and kill every single boss in the game. Last time, we tackled Doom, unlocking the final boss in Varlamore and completing our first ever Grandmaster combat achievement. This time, we focus on the other side of the world, aiming to unlock and complete Old School RuneScape's third raid, the Tombs of Amascut. Well, that's neat. I just logged in and noticed that I am over budget. These sulfur blades seem to vary in price a lot, so they were really nice for the Doom. I don't think I need them right now or in the near future. The Dragon Mace should just do fine. So I'm going to drop this for now. It's not too much of a pain to get back. It's just some nice melee training. It's pretty AFK. And I'm planning on doing a little bit of melee training. Well, not melee training, sorry. I'm planning on doing a little bit of skill training in the near future for quests. So the extra budget space is appreciated. So goodbye, Sulfur Blades. You served me well. And what better way to start than with some Tears of Gothics? This, I think, is going into Hunter, actually, taking us up 4 levels to 36. Not bad at all. So I think the next big quest that I want to focus on is Beneath Cursed Sands. The requirements aren't too steep, only need 2 skills, Agility and Crafting, to be leveled up. So I'm going to start on Agility for now. Hopefully this won't take too long. The goal is 52, and I know the goal is 62. And I know there's a few quests that give a ton of experience, so I'll probably take a break to do those at some point. But ToA unlocking with Beneath Cursed Sands is kind of huge for the account. There's endless combat achievements there, and I think they might even start... They might start at the hard tier, but they're mostly elite tier plus, and so there's going to be a ton of points there. So it's kind of too much to ignore. So I think it makes the most sense as the next unlock. So I'll see you after I've gained a bunch of agility, I guess. Alright, that didn't take too long. All the way up to 59 agility, right around 260,000 experience, which should be all we need. Let's go do some quests. And there's Regicide completed, getting us 60 agility. And that's Sheep Herder done. And here we are at the end of Roving Elves. I'm pretty sure the Crystal Bow or the Shield is going to go over my budget, but we'll take the bow just in case it does. Yeah, okay. This is going to the ground immediately. But that is Roving Elves done. On to Morning's End. Okay, so turns out I lied about Morning's End. Morning's End Part 1 requires a magic log, and I don't feel like figuring out how to get one right now. So I came to the Seer's Village course, just got 62 agility, which is the requirement for Beneath Cursed Sands. So other than quest prereqs, all that is left is 55 crafting. So I'll be back with that. So I am coming up on 55 crafting. I've still got a decent amount of molten glass in the bank, so I'm gonna finish blowing this into lantern lenses and then drop it. And that's all the requirements, so I guess it's onward to contact Beneath Cursed Sands and the Tombs of Amascut. There's 55 crafting, and I'll see you at the quest complete screens. That's contact done, 7,000 thieving XP, and 14,000 magic XP. Oh, hell yeah. 4-step casket. Hopefully this is a magic short bow. It'll make this quest a lot easier. Apparently not. I did try to get a magic short bow to speed up the Champion of Scabaris, but it just wasn't really necessary. Even with a bow and crossbow, the boss just kinda dies as long as you keep uptime. I did feel like bringing a prayer pot was worth it, since with all the movement in the fight, there just isn't a lot of time to prayer flick. Other than that, though, it's just no different from a normal boss fight. The final boss, on the other hand, has a ton of time to prayer flick. This is not the first time I've done this boss on an undergeared account. When your defense is terrible, you can't just tank the shadow hits, but luckily it spawns off-ticked from the main boss. You also can't really afford to try and kill it, since you just don't have enough damage to get it before it explodes. So instead, the strategy is to just prayer flick between the two mobs, always ready to dodge lightning. When they swap locations, the shadow is about to explode damage on anyone nearby, so just follow the main boss. The one tricky part is because the main boss is melee, it can be easy to same tick them by accident if you run away. So if that happens, running out of range or stepping under intentionally will just fix it. Really, it's a nerves check more than anything else. God, that fight's fucking intense, man. Got it though. One and done. My big question is, how much is the Karis Partisan worth? Let's drop the Circlet of Water, we're not really going to use it. And let's drop the Rune Sword. Cool. So, we're under budget. This thing has a high alch value of 36k. And it's quite good, actually. Stab bonus of, it looks like 58. And just a solid weapon overall, just to compare it. I'm pretty sure it just straight up beats the Rune Sword in every way. Yeah. No, it's just a strictly better Rune Sword, which is fair. It's a lot more expensive. So, this is a big investment, but I think this is going to be absolutely vital for getting some combat achievements at the Tombs of Amascut. So, let's go see what that looks like. For the next few clips, I accidentally was recording the game music and audio, so for now, you're stuck with voiceover Kiwi. The first CA I'm gonna go for is Chompington, killing Zebak using only melee attacks at raid level 150. There's nothing interesting to say about the puzzle, just doing it normally gets you perfect Krondys along the way. On to Zebak. The reason I chose Chompington first is due to the power of the Karis Partisan. Melee is absolutely my strongest style right now, so this felt like a good way to test how things felt. Much like entry ToB, the easiest way to do these CAs is going to be chain dying, stacking up honey locusts, and then doing the achievement with infinite supplies. For the kill itself, there isn't a lot to say. With honey locusts, I could freely use piety the whole kill. I didn't set up Zebak with any invocations, so there's no blood barrage. And by the end, I did run out of locusts, so I just turned off piety and lazy flicked the protection prayers. The kill was just a matter of time. At this point, I felt fairly confident with Zebak, so my next target was Perfection of Krondys. There's really two important parts to this CA. First, it has every invocation on, so blood magic starts to matter, but more on that later. The second is that this has to be done on 300 raid level, which increases his health and defense by a lot. One nice thing about the perfection tasks is that even though you have to complete the puzzle and boss perfectly in one run, you're still allowed to die on the boss. Only the kill itself has to be perfect. So, dying to stack up honey locusts is still a good idea, but it's not as simple as before. In expert level raids, the game will not give you more than 2 locusts, and if you try to eat while you have more than 2, it will just set the stack to 1. I don't really understand why this restriction exists though, because it's really easy to get around. If you just drop the locusts on the ground, they stay there forever, so it just adds a little bit of pathing when you need to pick up a new stack of 2. For the fight itself, I chose to use the bone crossbow just for simplicity. Strictly speaking, it's less DPS than the Partisan, but it's the perfect CA. For the most part, slow and steady is going to be the answer. The one problem, as I mentioned earlier, is the blood magic. For most of the fight, this doesn't matter. When you see the blood barrage, just pray mage. However, in Enrage, the blood barrage hits on the same tick as his auto attack, which is a 50% chance of unavoidable healing. There are two ways around this. The first would be to level Zebak to 2, which would increase his HP a lot, but remove the heals. It would let you pray mage. I was willing to do this if necessary, but the other way around is to just not think about it. Zebak attacks every 4 ticks, and every 7 auto attacks comes paired with a blood spell. Every 3rd blood spell will spawn blood orbs instead of casting blood barrage. On average, per cycle of 21 auto attacks, you have to tank 1 heal, since there's a 50% chance a given blood barrage is same ticked with a ranged auto attack. Experimentally, it seemed like the average heal was 11 health, so the question is, in order to outpace this, can I do more than 11 damage every 84 game ticks, or 13 damage a minute? Throughout the kill, I was much closer to 50 or 60 damage per minute, even with the tick loss from eating locusts. So, it's slow, but you don't have to deal with level 2 Zebak. With enough locusts, the boss will die eventually. I ended up failing the first attempt by being distracted by blood spawns and then getting acid dropped on me for the second wave. But the second attempt was a success. I do have to admit that flicking Zebak for 27 minutes straight was not the most fun CA I've ever completed, but a kill is a kill. Next up, I wanted to tackle some Baba CAs. Before the boss, though, comes the infamous Monkey Room. The big question here is whether Perfect Atmacan is possible. Other than just doing the mechanics, this CA has 2 extra requirements. First is that you complete the room in under 3 minutes, and the second is that it must be in a duo. For this run, I wanted to see how long a solo kill would take, and I was able to complete it in just over 3 minutes. I think Perfect Atmacan is possible, but not if I solo a duo scaled room. There's just too many extra monkeys. In a duo with identical gear, it is absolutely possible. I'm not going to do it right now, but I will return for it one day. You can probably predict the Baba CAs I'm going for here. I'm in a rush, and no skipping allowed are commonly done together, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The first CA requires you to destroy no more than 4 boulders, while the second requires you to never kill a weakened boulder. A solution that handles both is just to destroy nothing, and eat the damage instead. Spend a bit of time resetting for a stack of honey locusts, and this CA is completely free. I red X'd the boss to simplify mechanics, but really there's just not a lot to say about these two. Oh, and actually doing the red X was so slow and so boring that my mind wandered, and I realized that I was recording game audio. So, welcome back, Live Kiwi. Next up on my list of bosses is Akkha. And before we do that, here is the bronze pickaxe. It's bothered us since episode 1. Gonna put it to use here. We're not gonna be able to get the perfect puzzle room. Not yet, at least. You need to be able to kill this in 1 down, and I could bring a main and just do it for me, but that kind of seems lame. I'm pretty sure in 6 mining levels that I should just be able to do it with a rune pickaxe. So that's my current plan. But for now, I'm just going to do the puzzle slowly. And the combat achievement I'm going for here is going to be Dropped the Ball. The one that requires you to, whenever he's targeted you with the black special, not move and not drop any of the orbs. So, I think this fight is going to be a bit of a slugfest. I guess I could butterfly, but I'd probably want salts for that, or energy potions or something. But just resetting for a billion honey locusts should let me brute force him. Okay, let's give it a try with 22 locusts. I genuinely have no idea how this is going to go, but we're just going to try and figure it out. At think we don't use magic at all. I think magic's by far our worst style. And wow. I'm actually doing damage. This is very strange. This doesn't happen in the other rooms. Never mind, I shouldn't have spoke. Yep, had a feeling we'd have to do that. Akkha is one of the rooms where our setup is actually kind of okay. The boss takes reasonable amounts of damage and it doesn't feel like it's dragging. Even with that, it is still easy to get unlucky when hitting one of the shadows. It's fairly likely that we have to dodge one of the DPS checks by running over the explosion, and thankfully I'm used to doing that already. Just click when the shadow slams his spear into the ground. Other than that, it's just hit the boss until it dies. Enrage phase... There's not a lot to say about Enrage phase. They kind of just murdered the difficulty a while back. It feels like there's almost nothing to dodge. Overall, pretty straightforward room. Alright, well, there's dropped the ball for 4 more points. Only one boss left in the raid, and I'm just gonna go there right now, because I don't think there are any realistic CAs here. The only one is Perfect Kephri, and that does require a duo, which means it'll be twice as strong. And I don't love the idea of that, because I'm going to be slow, there's going to be a ton of dung. You have to break out every scarab before it hatches. And it spawns a lot of them. So I think this is one of those that I will save for a later time, but it is definitely worth getting Perfect Scabarus at the very least. Yep, 5 points for probably the easiest task in here. Jagex works in mysterious ways. Anyway, we just abandon here. So that is every boss in the raid, except for the final one. And so there's kind of just one more question left, right? And that's, can we get a kill of the raid? We were able to do this at entry mode ToB. I'm very confident we can do an entry mode ToA. The question is, can we do a normal? And I think the fundamental problem here is going to be magic. The only places where we really have to use magic are Monkey Room and the final boss. If we can get through both of those with a tiny amount of death runes, then we're good. If we can't, then we probably need to downgrade our Kephri Partisan, which will make Kephri significantly longer. But that might be fine. It's just a 150, it's just a solo. I also don't know if I can do it without dying for Helpful Spirit, or dying for Honey Locusts. But if I can, Hardcore Tombs would be pretty sick. So I'm gonna go run some calcs and figure out if this is possible. Because I want to clear this raid, and I don't just want to get dung, and it would be pretty cool to get the mini quest done and get some XP at the end. So I'll be back with that. The plan for this 150 is pretty straightforward. The one boss we haven't killed yet is Kephri, and so obviously that has to be the focus. It's a 0 supply room in theory, and the Kephri Partisan does enough DPS to kill it reasonably quickly. Basic melee gear and piety really ought to be enough. Past that, the bone crossbow has proven itself already in the other rooms, so the big question is wardens. Since the Kephri is taking up over half the budget, we somehow need to fit enough damage to kill the mage phase. Blood runes are too expensive, and blast spells might be too slow. So I think the most cost-effective solution is thralls. Each thrall does cost 5 death runes, but it should hit enough times over its lifespan to be worth the cost. I'm bringing enough thralls for 4 per mage phase, and then extra runes for Ghostly Grasp. Let's see how it goes. Step 1 is to go straight to Kephri. We are on a time limit. This is definitely going to be the tricky part. We need to kill the Spitting Scarab before we run out of anti-poison, and we need to not run out of prayer or health. I think this is doable. This is the place that we have the highest DPS. We could come back with combat pots, but I truly don't think we need them, and I'd rather spend that budget on more casts and more thralls. We can't actually afford to trap the meleeer, so we're just going to take it along that wall the entire time. Okay, that did not do that much damage to us. We can at least try and deal with some of these swarms, but we're not going to be able to deal with many. Not even worth the time. Better spend our time prayer flicking. Yep, I'm dead. Okay, so that is a learning experience. We can't really camp Piety for as long as we did, because the actual scary thing is going to be those scarabs. They do quite a bit of damage with our defense. So let's reset and try it again. We lost basically nothing there except for the super anti-poison, which we'll have to go get again, which is fine. Okay, back for round 2. I've changed the invocations a little bit. I've gotten rid of Lively Larvae, which should make Kephri easier. I've added Upset Stomach instead while dropping Arterial Spray, which should make the healing on Zebak also not bad. Other than that, everything's the same, except I have an attack and strength pot that we're going to pop right now. And hopefully this will help. I think I need to try to kill the Agile Scarabs if possible to let me flick as long as possible with Piety. I'm also going to keep these in my inventory, though I'm not going to click them. You're allowed to have potions in your inventory. I guess I could have banked them, but I mean, I've got the space, right? I just want to reduce resupply time if things go poorly. But let's just not have things go poorly. Let's just win. I've learned that the Agile Scarabs are absolutely fucking terrifying, and so we're just going to not deal with them if possible. Okay, let's do this. Gonna flick Piety aggressively, going to kill the scary eggs, and we're gonna win. That's bad. Alright, so we can't do that. Alright, so we're flicking only protect range from here. Except for certain very important parts. The meleeer simply won't hit me. And if it does, it'll hit a 1 repeatedly. Just believe. Will that into existence. And that's it. All right, Kephri is down. So that should be the hard part. Ideally. So now let's do Karandus, the other 0 supply room. And we're just gonna range it, nothing special. I haven't thought too hard about ammo, but I'm pretty sure this is gonna last. Okay, it's dead. Alright, that could have been played better, but a win is a win. Now, should be the easy part. We need a good chaos. That is a perfectly good chaos. We needed salts, and we needed all the other stuff. Slam and withdraw all. And so we're still going to try to preserve prayer, but now we actually have restoration, and we should be good. The next scariest room is Monkey Room, so I'm just going to do it next to get it over with and carry the salt into Akkha. So Monkey Room, we're going to be manually casting Ghostly Grasp. Otherwise, it's fairly straightforward. Play the video game. Don't be bad. We went through a decent number of bolts there, but not an absurd amount. We are salted. We're going to be praying melee because we want to kill the shamans and ignore the baboons as much as possible. That is very nice that we two-shot shamans. That is very bad, but it's right at the end of the room, so it's fine. Okay, that could have been worse. Could have been a lot better, but it could have been a lot worse. I see no reason not to brew full, just for safety. We have infinite healing. It's prayer that might be the problem, but I'm going to red X anyway. We do actually have to beat up the boulders. And it's going to take 2 shots each, but that should be fine. Okay, that's Baba. We gotta rush to Akkha. I'm not planning on using the salt dose there if I can avoid it. I think Akkha's our best room, other than Kephri. I think we do a decent amount of damage. We're gonna need those salts for Warden because we are going to be on the front row for a good bit of time. So, let's take no damage here. And the way we're gonna play this is we're going to use our quick prayers liberally. And just play the video game. Straight in, no waiting. Make the most of this boost. Whoops. All right. There goes the boost. That was definitely a chance. I knew I was going to get myself eventually by not having feeling special on. Okay, there we go. That is 4 out of 4 bosses. No deaths. All that's left is the end. That is an unfortunate life. I was hoping for another ambrosia, but I know not having on a diet. Well, I guess I didn't have food. I probably should have turned on a diet. That is a skill issue, but we have what we need. Should just be able to withdraw all and fit it all. Hell yeah. All right. I'm gonna try to relax a little, and then we will get into this. We have all the time in the world. Just need to think about our approach and play well. So I think the hard part here in P1 is going to be that this is just a DPS check. We need to do as much damage as we can to the obelisk The more orbs we take, the less supplies we have. Can't really use the ambrosia because I'm saving that for P3. That's fine. P2 is going to be where we use the brews. Our salt is still going to be ticking, so we're going to be able to brew up our stats. And honestly, we should use that everywhere because once the salt stops ticking, the brews get a lot worse. I'm sure eventually we'll have to brew down, but I'm going to try to delay that as long as possible. We don't have autocast. We are going to be using Ghostly Grasp, but the vast majority of our damage is going to come from Resurrect Superior Ghost. The Ghost on its own should deal enough damage with 3 thralls to down the boss, and we're going to be downing in 5 downs. So 3 of those will be mage, so I brought an extra thrall for each phase just in case. We will not be using ranged thralls. If we have extra, we'll use it during P4. Other than that, we just need to hit the boss, like, just do big damage. Yeah. Crush salts. Let's do this. We should be brewing on 15s. Should have bone crossbow spect. Do it now just in case. That's really helpful. Skipping this would be huge, but I don't think we're going to. We did. Okay. One thrall. Let's do this. We don't need to burn too many casts, and in fact, if we do, we're probably going to run out. Just enough to keep the thrall attacking. It has more health than I calculated. I think it's over. The reason I've swapped to the crossbow is just to keep the thrall attacking at all costs. Yep, there's the 4th thrall of the phase, so if it doesn't die here, we definitely don't have enough, and it's not gonna die here. Let's just spam Ghostly Grasp then. Alright, let's see how much damage we do. I don't even think that's enough to get extra hits. We are in range phase, so this will go faster. But I think this might be the end for us. Let's count. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I think that's it. Can we use this from outside the room? I don't even know. Oh. Can we leave? Nope. Oh. That is not possible with this setup. Now, it is worth noting that I just got 7 honey locusts there. It is definitely possible to get a kill of the Tombs of Amascut at 150 with this setup. Maybe I'd have to change my runes a bit. I'd probably use Wind Strike and suffer an even longer P2, but with infinite honey locusts, anything is possible. I just also don't really think that sounds fun. So unfortunately, I think the Tombs of Amascut have beaten me. Or at least, that's what I was going to say. I had a whole outro already recorded, but let's do a bit of a deeper dive first. Leave no stone unturned. Just how impossible is this combination of CAs? The problem I ran into is that rather than having only 140 HP, the Wardens in Phase 2 have 225, since it's a 150 level raid. Our magic setup just needs to be better. Our only realistic option to solve this is bringing more runes, and that means downgrading the budget elsewhere. But that's not even the whole story. I was running super low on supplies after just one long magic phase, and I'm gonna have to do 2 more of them. Not only is budget a concern, but I might not even have the supplies to live. So let's tackle that problem first. The only way that I'm going to be able to reduce the number of down phases is a Dragon Dagger. But there is absolutely no way that I can fit a Dragon Dagger, a Keris Partisan, and spells for Wardens all within my budget. Something has to go, and that something has to be the Keris. Okay, fine. We replace the Keris with a Dragon Dagger and bring more runes now that we have more space in the budget. Now we just have to actually complete the raid. My first idea here was to go Baba first. If we can make it through Monkey Room with prayer and HP remaining, then we can do Kephri with in-raid supplies later. Unfortunately, that's ridiculous. You drain so much prayer if you can't deal with these. That's not doable. It's just not going to work out. Fine, that's just one idea. What about doing Kephri first again? Surely the Dragon Dagger isn't that bad, right? Well, unfortunately, it is that bad. It's a lot worse. Going down from 3.3 to 2.07 DPS makes our existing strategy impossible. I'm just not good enough at flicking to lose 0 prayer while dodging fireballs, and the agile scarabs will just murder us if not prayed against. Well, alright. But what if we just killed the eggs and don't let them spawn? We tried that earlier with the Keris, but maybe with ranged it's possible. The eggs have 35 hit points each, and you're guaranteed to max on them no matter what you do. No matter what my setup is, it's going to take 2 hits to kill them, and there's 2 eggs. A U shortbow with rune arrows would be able to do it, but that's a fairly high budget increase for an already tight challenge. The bone crossbow almost pulls it off, but travel time makes the final egg hatch. However, if you fire 3 bone crossbow bolts and melee the final hit, just barely, the eggs will die. Unfortunately, there's even more problems. The first is that this strategy is just hard to pull off consistently, and, well, just listen. If you miss Eagle Eye there, it's just gonna hatch. U shortbow makes this easier, but also costs more budget. That's ridiculous, man. No, the DDS just doesn't do any damage. I can't do this. If it did damage, then we could kill it in time, but... oh man. Oh my god. No, this just isn't fun, actually. It's just genuinely stupid. The other problem was also in that last clip. Remember how I said there are 2 eggs? Yeah, no. Apparently after the second set of overlords, Kephri starts summoning 3 eggs instead of 2. That just completely kills the strategy. There's no way to kill all the eggs in time, and the DDS just doesn't do enough damage to pray through them. We need the DDS to speed up Wardens, and we don't have access to a stronger weapon against Kephri other than the Keris, and that's way too expensive. It just can't be done. Unless... I'd just like to thank whoever is merching blood runes for making this way harder than it needs to be. You know who you are. Nice. Okay. Really good start. Yes. Okay. Kephri is dead. That is the brick wall. So now we have a bunch of supplies and we just need to kill Zebak without trolling our prayer, and we should be fine. That's fine, actually. We're not going for perfect. Okay, stop fucking up. Yes. Okay, we played terribly, but we got lucky. And luck is all you need sometimes. Luck is the best kind of skill. Okay. So, now we have a choice. It has 2 salts. Oh my god, it has 2 salts. It's beautiful. I need to think very hard about this. So the question is, if I take those 2 salts, what do I do later? I can take light for infinite healing. And I should have enough salts to be able to 2 to 3 down. The problem is the 3rd down is a little spicy. It kind of requires me to not drain my stats at all. I can control that if I'm paying really fucking close attention. We're gonna take Chaos and we're going to play out of our fucking minds. Okay, 79 blood runes left. That should be enough for a 3 down on Wardens. I was thinking about my calcs, and I'm pretty sure I'm actually going to get a 4 down Warden, which is fine. I just didn't think about just how long it takes to regen spec energy. But that's okay. We're okay. All that matters is Akkha. Nothing else right now. We have to take light. We don't think about it very hard. Just a little bit of luck. Come on. That's all we needed. All right. Now, I don't need to flick Mystic Might. It doesn't give a max. So we just need to go ham. Okay, insanity is on. We're gonna take it slow until we have to. No prayer until absolutely required. Careful. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, we got, holy shit. Hardcore Tombs, you are not prepared. Better get moving. Novice Tomb Explorer, moving on up. Confident Raider and Tomb Explorer for a grand total of 4, 9, 14, 17, 20, 23, 27 combat achievement points. Oh, man. I was ready to give up there, I'll be honest. I had to... Some of that was the most frustrating thing I've ever done. Dealing with the RNG at Kephri, but as soon as I got that run, I knew it was ready. The normal Karis was the answer. Who knew? Who knew? Oh man, I already recorded an end to this episode, but... And I got convinced by a friend to keep trying, and here we are. It worked out. Now, how fucking cool would it be? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that makes sense. Gonna loot this, get an elite clue, I guess. Sure, that's gonna send me... Holy shit. Super over budget. All right, what all did that? Was it mostly the gold bars? No. Was it mostly the rubies? Yes. Was it also mostly the torstals? Yes. I mean, maybe I could do something with the gold. I don't know. Elite clue. Oh, I just got rid of my sled for a tiny bit of GP. Cool. Anyway, scoreboard. I was the archer. Does that make sense? Is that because Zebak was 24 fucking minutes? Probably. I don't know if I agree with that, though. I feel like... What's this mean? Dealt the most... Alright. Means nothing. Lucky 7s. Damage taken. 1 hour, 42 minute run. That was brutal. I don't know if I expected to pull that off. But, that. Let's spacebar through this and finish the mini quest. This goes directly the fuck onto magic. 1 level. Not gonna complain about 1 level. Cool. Alright. Well, let me entity hide her up real quick. And that's that. So we did it. We completed a Tombs of Amascut without dying. We didn't manage to complete a Chambers at all, and our top entry mode required a ton of dying. So definitely progress on that front. Yeah, that was fantastic. I didn't expect to get as much done here as I did, but here we are. So let's look at the combat tasks completed. And there's 150 points until we complete the hard tier. It really does seem kind of closer than ever. We're 22 days, 23 hours in, almost 23 days. Got 1395 total, a nice 69,750 GP budget. And it's been a while, hasn't it? I haven't been able to play this account as much as I want, but you'll see that there's a new skill. New skill means more budget. Honestly, I don't know how reasonable it's going to be to train sailing without any money, but 70k ought to be enough to get started, right? So that is definitely what's coming next episode, along with, I'd imagine, the combat tasks for Brutus, because I am recording this on April 3rd, 2026. So we are pretty well caught up to what's going on right now. So hopefully I'll see you sooner rather than later. And as always, thanks for watching.